Good morning. 924. Hey, the link is proudly brought to you by Cabo Select Care, IT&E, Cabo Enterprises, and Dial Rent to Own. At 925, let's head back out into the Zoom room where Janela Carrera, the public health spokesperson, is standing by. And it looks like she is at Tiyan for the community testing. Good morning, Janela.
Hey, good morning, Chris.
Okay, I couldn't hear you in the chat, so your laptop battery is low. Like, what are we talking? Like 1%, 2%, 5%?
No, I'm at about 70%, but these things don't last forever, so.
70%, that's my boys could play 2 hours of Minecraft on 70%.
We don't have any power outlets here, so I won't be able to plug in.
Right on. So let's just make it snappy then. So yesterday, I know that you guys there was a little light down in Agate, right? So if anybody wants to get tested this morning for the community mass testing, where would the best place to go be?
I would say head down to Agate. Yesterday, we had a total of 74 people tested down in Agate. The day before, I believe it was 45 people that were tested in Agate. So, the lines are a little bit shorter in Agate and longer in Tiyan and in Jigo. So if you want a shorter line, maybe a shorter wait, I would say head down to Agate.
And so I heard there was a construction cluster, I think 14 positives, right?
17.
17?
That's right.
Yeah. What can you tell us?
That's right, yeah. So Pacific Rim is the latest construction company to, self-disclose. We're really glad that they chose to, come out and be transparent about the cluster that's going on within their construction barracks. So 17 positive cases. They're working very closely with us to ensure that there's no further spread. We are, working to ensure that they're isolating all the positive cases, quarantining all of the close contacts, and separating all of the negative cases as we continue to test all of their workforce.
Janela, this did you say Pacific Rim?
Yes.
Yeah, Pacific Rim. So
That's right.
Were they one of the companies that was approved to resume construction after you guys halted construction? Was it a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, so initially they were approved to resume. And so this cluster was probably something that was just discovered recently after they were approved to resume. And so, as soon as there was these positive cases that were identified, then we, of course, halted or gave them guidance to stop and cease all operations, isolate all the positive cases, and quarantine all of the close contacts.
Are we now looking at, because of this, maybe are we doubling back and reaching out to any of the other construction companies that have been approved to resume operations, or are we just relying on them to self-report?
That's certainly something that we're looking into because Pacific Rim does have barracks. We're looking into the possibility that they may have subcontracts. That I'm not sure if they do. I know that Black Construction and Cortec, they're still, under they still have, their operations have still not been reopened. But we are looking into any other projects that they may have, that they may be doing with other companies. So that's definitely something that we're investigating to just ensure that there's no other spread of other companies.
Are there any other construction companies that were approved to resume operations that have barracks? Also have barracks?
I have to check on the list that we have which companies do have barracks that have been approved. I'll check back with DEH. I'm not sure because, the construction checklist does, one of the questionnaires is if they have any subcontracts with Cortec or with Black Construction, H2 workers and barracks. So, and if the answer is yes, then there's we look further into that. So there's a criteria that needs to be met. Now, after that criteria is met, if the answer is yes, there is further criteria that needs to be met before we give them the approval.
So is public health possibly going back and looking at this program and the guidance and the checklist, considering the fact that you approved one of the contractors to resume operations that does in fact have a barracks?
Definitely, yeah. That is definitely something that we're going to look into, just to ensure that if Pacific Rim had other subcontracts or had worked with any other construction companies, we're definitely going to look into this, just to ensure there's no further spread with other companies or outside of Pacific Rim or within the community.
Janela, so with these positives at this barracks, the 17, were those included in the reporting from the JIC last night?
You know what? I'd have to check. Let me 1 second.
Okay.
We did receive. Let me just find out, because we did receive. When they get tested, it usually is done at our northern clinic. And it doesn't necessarily break down then which one is from where exactly. But we do have a report, which I don't have access to right now. I'd have to probably go back to the office just to find out if that was inclusive of the 17. Also, I don't have the full report of when exactly those 17 were tested. It may have been sometime last week or over the weekend. So I don't have the full report in front of me, but I can definitely get that to you.
Okay.
What about the response to the mass community testing? So you have 200 available at each of the 3 sites, but when I look at the JIC report, it says antigen tests 313. So are you seeing a low response from the community?
Sorry, 1 second. I think, can you check with Pat and with Naomi? They're 1, 2 tables, 3 tables down. Sorry. Sorry, simultaneously, I'm multitasking here. So we were prepared to offer 600 tests at all, 200 tests per location. We saw 300 in the first day, 305 yesterday. So it's a little bit of a low turnout. But I think, because the community, the public knows that we're here all week, we're kind of anticipating that they may come toward the end of the week, and probably on Saturday is probably when we're going to see the big turnout, because it's a weekend and, most people are off. And also the South is a little bit of a low turnout. But, what I'm hearing from people is, well, that's just how the South are. They're kind of like a last minute type of thing. So we're kind of anticipating that, it's going to come toward the end of the week. So, but, we are encouraging people to take advantage of, the weekday. And also, if you have free time, maybe come during your lunch and take advantage of the South too, that beautiful drive down there. But also, we're here, whether you come, whether we meet that 200 per location or not, we're here all week. We're going to offer the test. We're only here till 12. We do get some people showing up after 12, not realizing that it's only till 12. So, definitely there is an interest from the community. We do have long lines. We have right now, let me just show you. I'm going to pick up my laptop just so you have an idea of how long the line is right now. But I'm going to try to be sensitive so that you don't see.
Yeah.
I don't get cut. But this is. So, I mean, there is a line here in Tiyan, you know, so we do get definitely an interest. It's just, you know, uh, perhaps it's one of those things where they're waiting till the end of the week.
Right. One of the things I found interesting, because I went out and got the antigen test, the Binax Now test yesterday, was when I pulled up under the canopy and they told me that, oh, you're also going to do the PCR test. So I didn't know that that was an option, not an option, but that they were going to recommend that. So I think for people that have symptoms, they should be aware that, you know, when you do the health screening, that that might be recommended.
Yeah, so we do have PCR tests here, and we use that for confirmatory testing. And so the confirmatory testing is for those who are symptomatic and then their test result for the antigen is negative, or for those who are asymptomatic but their test result is positive. We use the PCR test for confirmatory testing.
Right. But, you know, what I also think is interesting is that the antigen test, the Binax Now test, I thought they were for symptomatic patients.
Right, right. So the EUA recommendation and approved use for Binax Now for antigen testing, it is, you know, it's for symptomatic patient, it's for point of care. And initially when we received our 30,000 kits, that was the intended use. We were going to distribute it to clinics and use it for symptomatic patients. The shift in our strategy for using it for serial testing, for mass testing, came as a result of a number of factors. One, you know, the governor wanted to make mass testing as widely and readily available to the people of Guam as much as possible, knowing that there may be some deterrent because of costs that may be associated with testing. And then there's also, you know, we had a meeting with the U.S. Surgeon General, Dr. Adams, and Dr. Deborah Birx, the White House Task Force coordinator. And their recommendation was that we use antigen testing because of its wide availability for mass testing. The benefits actually outweigh its recommended use because they're now finding that before symptomatic or asymptomatic patients represented about 45% of all COVID positive patients. Well, now they're starting to see an increase that it's actually 65 to 70% of all COVID positive patients are asymptomatic patients, and that's throughout the US. And so they recommended that we actually use antigen testing for mass serial testing. So that's another factor as well. We initially received a shipment of 30,000. We are anticipating to receive more. So, you know, we have a lot of them. And even if we continue to do weekly or daily mass testing using the antigen, I don't see that we're going to run out of these. We do still plan to distribute, you know, some of the antigen tests to the clinics as a point of care. But, you know, we have 30,000. We're not going to run out of these anytime soon. It's available. We can use it for mass testing, and that's what we're doing.
Okay. Right on. Anything else, Bree?
Yeah, have any of the Binax test kits been sent to private clinics versus just public health?
At this point, I don't believe they have. But that is something that we are discussing and working on. It is a goal. It's still something that we would like to do. But right now the focus is on mass testing.
Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to let the community know, Janela?
No, just, you know, we're just really excited to be here and encourage everybody to please come out if you can. we're here all week, but take advantage of the weekday, because I do foresee that Friday, Saturday will be long lines, and take advantage of the South if you can, because it's a little shorter down in Agate. So, and also thank you, Chris and Bree and KWM for, I heard you guys were everywhere donating yesterday for Giving Tuesday. So, hats off to you guys too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's just what we do, Janela.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I heard about you. They told us yesterday you guys were there. I missed it, but thank you. We really appreciate you guys do as well.
Right on. Right on. Okay.
Stay safe.
Be safe. Guys, hit up Agate. Head down to Agate. Don't wear blue.
Guys too.
And please take advantage. Chris is wearing his red.
I got the right shirt. I should go down to Agate. What's up, blood?
Good. He's good.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Thanks. Thank you, Janela. See you. Hey guys, we're gonna take a real quick break, and we're coming back with